close nearby, but no, it's Agers in the storm, looking like a solo as well. What is happening here? This is going to give a sense of security to Pollo and Peterbot when the skin comes out and they see Agers potentially there in the distance.
Yeah, they're also going to recognize the fact that he's a...
They're going to think he's a solo, but he's not.
Agers is just far enough away from Rise, though, that Pollo and Peterbot, you saw the confidence in that movement. They were full sprinting. They're not trying to hide anything about their intention. And Agers instantly recognizing the danger in sight. It's going to fall back immediately. And now Pollo, Peterbot, they see his duo in the distance, and they're going to opt to fall back. Agers and Rise will live to see another day.
Definitely a close one. Pollo and Peterbot were moving so fast as well. And, you know, for good measure, they need more damage. They are not quite there just yet. Giras and Shari going to be the next ones up for Pickens here. But nothing is going to connect. Getting close now to the top 25. Take a look at the highlights. You blinked, you missed it. Baka and Pars get deleted by the young Cold. Very nicely done. He's starting to heat up, it seems now. In the back half, that short break probably much needed.
That last elimination, though, that Flixie and Vico picked up off screen is carrying their surge damage threshold currently, sitting just barely above at 113 over. But Vico, Flixie, more importantly still, they need to find another loot refresh if possible. They're going to have to create the situation themselves. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Pollo, this could be exactly everything they were looking for. Ed and Persa have fallen, and a big refresh of materials is finally headed their way.
That was actually so fast too, right? One of the fastest eliminations they picked up, but look, no heals were given out. You would think you catch two teams or a set of duos here on the outside, catch the quick elimination, and you'd be fully refreshed, but they are still in a very bad situation as far as heals are concerned.
Yeah, but it's all from rags to riches when you're looking at Thomas HD and Queasy's loadouts in comparison to Pollo and Peterbot. They are in tatters at this phase. And now, taking the flaming boost tube, they're gonna try to catapult themselves. It's helping them cover some distance, but at the same time, they're just still so far behind everyone else, very likely to get held the moment that they surface.
They go, sneaking their way out from the edge here. All eyes on Peterbot and Pollo right now, as this is, again, one of those very dangerous situations they found themselves in where Pollo doesn't have much HP. Peterbot holding on with just a single strong foot. Let's see it though. They find a little weak ramp here, try to double out onto Jonas and Pixis. But nothing comes out. Pixie manages to level up just a little bit more there. And the hunt continues.
Peterbot and Pollo, though, they're going to send out their next scan off that reveal medallion. It's Siyun and Kadu. But Siyun and Kadu, they might even be caught in a different exchange of their own. Believe that they're applying some pressure onto Epicwell and Muzz, who are sitting on the low ground just underneath them. Cheeps as well, so incredibly hurt, but Peterbot, Pollo, they are just praying for any sort of refresh, but nobody is coming near them. Keep in mind that reveal medallion also marking their position on the map. People know Peterbot and Pollo are on the approach. Yeah,
Kato is trying his best to see if he can swing around this dead side for the rotate, but Peterbot and Pollo not having anything to do with it. In fact, finding more tags now into Kadu. They're gonna recognize we just shield cracked here, push in, take the wall. They didn't have heavy material before, so what did they have to work with? Armored wall comes out, give them a little bit of room, but different duos now looking to collapse in. Luckily, the tag was onto Peterbot and not his teammate. Otherwise, it will be Rats here. Great Monarch tags, but they are literally operating on fumes right now.
Peterbot is down to his final 4 builds.
Wow.
Make that 3. He's still got 6 armored walls though, but he'll have to be so meticulous with how he actually places them. But
Needed
just
that.
in time, Chris has been found.
It's not much. It's not much, but it's something. And down they go in 17th place. They just couldn't get a footing. Look at who it is. Vico on the other side here. Falls and takes the damage too. Out goes some of the immediate threat. And things begin to open up for Cammy and Seti. Once again on the high ground, Queasy and Thomas, also who are just on a day 2 performance of their careers right now.
The opportunity has arisen though. Thomas HD and Queasy know if they can just close this one out in any sort of fashion, like some of the successful matches they've had earlier here today, that could be all the difference necessary. Only 54 points currently separates first and second place. Sphinx from the low ground, trying to take some chops up onto height. Success as well. Seti and Cammy will be forced to try and pave their way forward. Still looking to maintain a front side position of this next zone, but Duke, Sphinx right behind them, threatening. They're gonna have to push forward as well, though. It's only a matter of time before the two have to clash.
Sphinx and Dukes have turned their focus to high ground here. They want to be up on that podium before the weekend's over, and there's just 3 games to do it. Here we are in the final moments, top 15 now. Things are starting to heat up here for Thomas HD and Queasy. Material running low. They have to find the refresh here. Desperation will start to kick in. They saw the shield crack. Sidewall goes in. They're fully committed. Armored walls. It's all start to kick in. They saw the shield crack. Sidewall goes in. They're fully committed. Armored walls. It's all start to kick in. They saw the shield crack. Sidewall goes in. We've seen Queasy be here before. He will have to figure out how to clutch up for the team now.
At least for a moment, he's gonna opt to play his final med kit. It'll buy him a little bit of time. He's hoping that it'll buy him even a placement or two. But now, pushing in late from the backside of zone, hoping that he can drop in overhead, sees bodies, hears the shots connecting all around. Prism is gonna get knocked. That's the refresh he needed, but the splashes, Queasy can't use them in time. He gets the elimination, but at what cost?
And it wasn't enough to overthrow the gap between him and Peterbot and Boyo. The small chance that he had, the crack in the window that was open, he could not fit through. And it remains as close as ever as we are bending into game 11 and 12 of the tournament. This is Bryce's and Bolt's chance to secure a victory. This is Sphinx and Duke's chance to secure a victory. Or can Cammy and Seti pull a trick out of the hat at this point and come back with another win today?
Seti is already out. Cammy may have been right next to him. Swizzy and Yapko, on the other hand, they're looking to be the ones to try and overtake the low ground. They've created so much space, but working through these pre-existing builds and even the buildings themselves here at Brawler's Battleground is posing so much of an issue because Bryce Bolt's in the mid-ground. Pixie as a solo, he's gonna opt for the medkit play as well. Teams falling left and right, and the solos left behind, just hoping that the duos clash into each other.
Japko and Swizzy, very solid team, doing what they need to. Beautiful tag out to Gyros, puts him down quickly. Teammate falls behind it, and then Japko delivered Pixie right afterwards, and they jumped their way up to 8 eliminations in the top 3 now. Bolts is weak, but Bryce is healthy. Sphinx and Dukes waiting their timeout from the high ground, listening to what's happening down low. The medallion's in full effect, so they have all the information needed, and they're cutting them off. What an angle from Bryce here to find 1, now 2 on the low ground. Down comes Sphinx and Dukes. The call has been made. They're looking to close this game out, and they're a very weakened duo down here.
Duke's feeling good about this one, though. He knows that these players have got to be low. Final 3 builds remain. Sphinx right up above to back him up, but it's only going to take one last shot. Dukes waiting to see which hole Bolts tries to scramble out from under. Armored walls to surround himself for the time being.
That's so smart. He's got something to heal with. He actually is trying to survive it, but Sphinx was also ready on the high ground, and he has an extra med kit. It's going to be so close here as Sphinx has run out of heals, and Bolts has 1 in 3, 2, 1. It is over, and Bolts wins the game via armored walls and med kits. I knew they would win one this weekend.
They were hunting for it for so long. It was only a matter of time before they were finally able to seek this one out. A big victory royale to surge their way up the leaderboards. Heartbreaking moment for Sphinx and Dukes, but they did their best.
Would you please put your hands together for Bryson Mars? It is good to talk to you guys. Walk us through the end game there. We saw the heels came into play, but what a way. The crowd absolutely loving that too.
We finally got a south pole for the first time. It went to the sand. We also got surge guns this game. So we decided to just stay our spot, get surge. After that, we made it to end game pretty easily. Once we were there, it was just refreshes, you know, it was just clockwork. I don't know, Bryce is one of the best IGLs in the game. I'm one of the best fraggers, and put that together, we're one of the best players ever.
I mean, Bryce, you know, we hear that from their bolts. It was an incredible way to round things up here. Obviously, you guys want to get as far up the leaderboard as possible now. Walk us through this competition thus far. How has it been for you both as a duo?
It's been pretty challenging, but like we're the best duo, so it's nothing like different than NA East, pretty much, or NA Central.
And I got to ask as well, we heard it from these guys, Fort Worth. I mean, Fort Worth, let them hear you one more time. You've got the crowd on your side too here. That must give you a lot of wind in your wings as well.
Yeah, a lot of adrenaline running. I'm really nervous, but I'm also excited.
All right, you heard it there. Bryson Bolts, one more time, give it up for your winners! Whew. Lots more coming our way here. Bryson Bolts there securing the victory, but we've got 2 more games left to play here. What's going to happen next? You have a front row seat. Do not go anywhere. This crowd already, we know you guys are too. We'll see for plenty more right after this break.
Welcome back to the FNCS Global Championship. We just wrapped up game number 10. Only 2 remain before global champions are crowned. To say this last game was chaotic, I feel is almost like an understatement.
Yeah, that was chaos in its finest form right there. Our two biggest teams going down relatively early, although still getting those placement points, probably still holding themselves up in the top of the leaderboard. But big shout outs to Dukes and Sphinx. We've seen some great performances from them, but Bryce and Bolt with the win there. I mean, we saw it from Global Championships 2023. Bryce getting that 6th place with Chubbs. Now, bringing it back again to show how well he can perform on the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, they said it right there. They have the perfect partnership. They have the best IGL, the best fragger in their opinion, and they think they are the best duo, which is, of course, what we got to see in this game right here. They're a little bit lower down on the leaderboards, too, so this is what the second day can do. That 1.5x points can really boost them up in the standings, which I'm sure we'll take a look at very soon. But it's this moment right here where Bryce goes down. Bolts, of course, had to pop that med kit, and Dukes just couldn't get inside of that box because he placed all of those armored walls. What a great strategy, and ultimately, it was because he had more med kits at his disposal.
Such a smart play, and it's also a bit of a risky play, right? Because you don't know what is in Dukes' loadout there. You don't know if he has the medkits. You just have to make that call. And a lot of the times we see these low ground teams, when it does come down to a heal off, kind of scour the low ground there, trying to find the medkits. But he says, no, I have to believe this is my chance. I'm not giving the high ground team a chance to drop down and eliminate me. I'm going for the heal off.
Yeah, you just have to commit, right? That's a great point, because like obviously we as viewers, we have all of the information, right? We can kind of see everyone's healths and everything, but the players can't, right? They're just going, they're down below me, commit health, the med kit. We don't have another choice. This is the only health I have, right? So very interesting to see. Let's take a look at our leaderboard with only 2 games left. How are things going? Peterbot, Pollo still holding on, especially after that last game. What I found very interesting about Peterbot and Pollo in that game, they started the game with bunker, right? But yet most of the game, they were just shambles.
Yeah, we saw how deep into the storm that they had to go for that bunker. And when that happens and you have to do a big rotate, they're landing over the raft, and it was a southeastern zone. And then by staying in the storm to get that bunker, you just have so much potential to sacrifice, especially when people are paying attention to all those outside teams going for those tags. You just have to use mats, and you're going to have to use your heals a little early in that situation.
Yeah, the casters mentioned it as well. They made a more quick south rotation, of course, within that very first zone to take out the OCE team down there that took out Veno and Clicks, and I think they didn't get the forecast tower there either, so they were always back in the storm. They didn't know where that next zone was going to be, so they couldn't plan ahead. And we've kind of seen that a lot throughout the day and the whole weekend, I guess, with Peterbot and Pollo. They haven't necessarily looked like the most healthy team, the most stacked team at all circumstances and all situations, but they have the fragging power, they have the ability to pull themselves out of that situation, and that's what makes this team so great. Absolutely.
We saw there in a moment, Thomas HD jumps into a box, making the maddest play I think I've ever seen. What's interesting about this duo, right? Earlier on in the game, around 4th zone, they're sitting 700 above. And then we go into like 7th zone, they're 400 above. And then kind of running out of steam as far as like mats are concerned.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, just 3 builds available to them, unfortunately jumping into that box. It was possible that Thomas HD thought that it could have been a solo, but Queasy, once again, just with that solo clutch, even though he wasn't able to get too much besides the elimination and an 11th place finish, that still adds up, Mini.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it was a similar situation to earlier on where he actually left the body in the storm. He couldn't get the heals and the materials and stuff that was on that body earlier. He went for it this game. He tried it. He saw those chug smashes, which of course can heal your whites, and he tried to go for it. Wasn't quite enough there at the end, but again, a nice game. Of course, Peterbot and Pollo there got 17th place. I think it was an 11th place for these guys right here, so they're getting the upper hand on them. They're getting the edge on them. It's just not quite enough to take over that first place spot at the moment.
This is going to be a fight until the very end. 2 games left to go, and then a champion will be crowned. Fortnite fam, let's get ready to jump into game 11 on the day. Casters, over to you.
Here it is. There's only 2 more chances now. Match 11 being one of them, coming right up.
It almost feels so surreal at this point, MDF, that we are right on the cusp of crowning our next global champions.
Yeah, and it is really close at the top. I can't believe Queasy and Thomas couldn't take the small opportunity available, but let's see it. More chances will everyone get here in match number 11 to take their shot at the throne? Because at this point, Peterbot and Pollo have served up too many opportunities. They can't surely come up short, right?
You would think so, but at the same time, NDF, with the 1.5 times point multiplier, anything is possible. And speaking of crazy possibilities here, Brutal Beachhead, Gal Gamer, Haman, they're actually gonna fly right overhead. They've recognized they have been completely outdropped. Their intentions are elsewhere. Sato and Andalex, though, on the north side of the warship here at Brutal Beachhead. Could be a moment for Acorn and Cole to potentially manifest their own destiny here on the day, because they have certainly encountered a fair share of struggles. And the contest also continues at the Rebels Roost for Kovacs, Putty, Sky, and Scroll.
Looking for an opportunity, looking for an angle right now. Putty's gonna get a huge pickup from the drop right there. So that's the round out the loadout here. Shotgun, AR ready to go. Burst being a great option so early right now. Monarch pistol for Kovacs, so not exactly the best. However, this is a hot drop, so you can see there are plenty of drones flying around that'll drop good loot as well. But Scroll and Sky this time not content with what they've received. Back off. We've seen them do this before. Meanwhile, on the other side, a power-worthy and Alex kicking things off, continuing their domination over Restored Reels. They really have impressed us, I would say, with what they're capable of in the early game. If they can just patch up that mid game, I mean, they would make OCE very proud.
Well, they've managed to smooth out the difficulties that they had in day one as far as that 50-50 drop is concerned and Restored Reels. The problem now today has just been Kanata and Cooper, amongst other teams, just closing in on that location after they see the exchange take place. But Acorn is currently situated here at Brutal Beachhead without Cold, and considering the Andalex as an elimination of his own, you have to expect that that was the one he found on the Cold.
Yeah, it's sad to see, but it's about the worst we've seen Acorn and Cold do in person right now, and there's a lot of factors starting to add up. Normally, they play very, very well, you know, being contested. However, there were some rumors Cold wasn't feeling 100% today, so that could be taking its effect here now, especially as we drag on later into the evening, as they've kind of slipped down. But shift our focus into the stars of the evening, if you will. Boyo and Pewterbot right now really starting to take form here. Last game makes you wonder what all went wrong in the mid game, given that they were just in shambles somehow. No extra material. And then on the other side, Queasy and Thomas had a opposite situation, but this time it's an elimination.
They pushed in rather quick to capitalize on Kramsu and Clone, who do land a little bit north of where Research Rock is at. And sure enough, Queasy just beaming Kramsu. Could have potentially just been a circumstance where Kramsu didn't even have time to react. He just got dropped in 2 shots pretty much. So well played to Queasy, Thomas HD for that one. Something we were just talking about in between these matches is the fact that Queasy and Thomas have been able to find the placement points, but what they need to add to it at this stage are the eliminations.
Definitely being elimination light is what's holding them back on the standings right now, but consistency is surely theirs, and that'll trump everything. Talk about consistent teams. Vico and Flixie have been online, but this time they have to be careful, have to be wary of Bryson Bolts, who are coming off a Victory Royale, given that they are another top 10 team. So that's not going to be easy by any means, but a battle for the forecast tower is, of course, worth fighting for. And we've seen Bryson Bolts escape already with the cards, so.
Not only that, I mean, even factor in what happened yesterday. Bryson Bolts taking out Flixie when he did secure that forecast key card, so anything goes just about. Just because you get the key card, until you actually confirm it onto that forecast tower, you can't consider it in your control. Teeny and Chap, though, across the map, just putting on so much pressure here for Garrison Shari. No real opportunity for them to bounce back here.
Girus and Shari mixing up the strategies doesn't seem to be working going north at all right now. They were better off sitting in the storm trying to catch tags on the Clix and Vino. Jumping in with Chicho now in Trulex. Just outside the Doomstat. Big base here. Ramped out almost to see what they can find. Things are going to slow down here for a moment, but on the other side, things starting to heat up now for Chap and Teeny. Another elimination to finish the duo off.
They knew that Shari was a solo, though, after collecting Gira, so it makes sense that they would take the time to pinpoint his location. The surge damage, just such a massive necessity to collect early on, so that way they can have better control over their rotations as the match progresses. Because we are down to our final 2 lobbies here today, MDF. Walks Ping getting active now against the likes of Rise and Yuma, and they're gonna win out. 2 big eliminations to add to the tab as Poyo and Peterbot yet again also finding themselves fully in control of the forecast tower.
They've doubled back, they've secured it again, and this means that they will have all the information for all of the zones coming up. It's such an advantage. And it's not just them, right? There are other teams, of course, securing other forecast towers. However, they have just been the team that be able to do the most with that information.
But now you've got a team with the best medallion, the best striker burst assault rifle, the best kind of opportunities to set themselves into optimal positioning thanks to the forecast. Shutting that down might not even be the focus. More so, it's just got to be other teams emphasizing even more still into their own gameplay to ensure that they can keep up at this point.
Vico and Flixie trying to keep up. I love that they go around, tag other teams, and then double back to the railways, always looking for someone who makes the mistake of getting to their drop spot, looking for scraps. Seems to be what works. On the other side, though, CZB, Nathan, EU team going up against Bryce and Bolts right now. Bryce and Bolts are actually just waiting right now, probably not too sure about what they want to do. I'm sure they want to get back to farming as they don't have much to work with here, and CZB and Nathan seem to catch a read here. They don't want to take this fight.
Yeah, Season B and Nathan, they're in a far better position as well, just having that little bit of elevation to work with. So Bryce, Bolts, they're likely going to head the opposite direction, but something I couldn't help but notice, last time we checked in with Trulex and Chicho, that surge base that they had established, the way that they were taking shots into Doomstad, wondering how much interference they've been playing today up against the likes of Muzz and Epic Whale, Reet and Ritual. Keep in mind, those 2 teams are trying to head, they're already softly contesting each other. They've been splitting Doomstad between the north and south sides, but when you've got Trulex and Chicho, such strong mechanical players, you know they have such crazy pinpoint accuracy, and they're holding you with the surge base from so far. It can be very difficult to actually work your way out of that location.
Especially if it forces you into another team that you're not expecting, which of course will be disastrous. Chicho and Trulex doing just that as well, talking about manipulating these rotates. They're trying to do that here. No tags right now into Rapid and Batman Booga. However, Trulex has got a completely different angle here on the outskirts. But the call's being made. Time to get a move on it here. They'll be one of the first to rotate now.
Plenty of rocks, though, to easily refarm some of the brick that they had invested for that first surge base. And just behind them, you can see Muzz, Epic Whale. They've had to maintain a low profile to prevent themselves from being victims of Trulex and Chicho's Eagle Eyes inside of that surge base. But the surge bases continue to pose issues for plenty of other teams around the lobby. Here we've got Poyo and Peterbot actually looking to see if they can capitalize onto Sky and Scroll. One above, one below. Sky Scroll caught in the center. But they're going to try to just finagle their way out of this one, sure enough. Poyo, though, just quick to the chase.
Haven't quite got the tags, though, right? So something isn't going right for this battle here. Clearly, the goal is damage and or eliminations, but none being earned. Meanwhile, Ping and Wox right here are in a completely different fight. Deep into the storm, just outside the underworld. Wox, who's at 3 eliminations here, clearly fired up for match 11 right now. Chasing down visuals and Braids. Finds the wall, Ping on the other side, gets the edit. However, Braid slips out.
This is looking rather dire though for Braids. For Wox and Ping, they've already invested so much time. They need this surge damage at this point, which is why Wox, he's so intent, so determined to make sure that he cleans up the other half of this duo. Not to mention the 3 eliminations as well. Wox and Ping playing super aggressive. Some of these final lobbies. A knock though is going to be a big setback here for Wox and Ping. They have some white heals to work with, but keep in mind, we just saw Trulix and Chicho's positioning. All the other teams as well that are based a little bit more towards that northeast side of the map are going to have ample opportunity to just gatekeep these teams that are still inside the storm, rotating so late.
Think about what they're fighting for. These are all of our top 10 teams we're jumping in and giving you guys updates with. You are seeing just why they are sitting well within the top 10, taking fights, dropping teams, making big moments every single chance that they get, and now Dukes and Sphinx are looking to do just that as well here, as they're sitting heavily in 5th here. But Kramsu, Clone looking for the double pincer here. Both sides are cut off, but Dukes and Sphinx double back one another. Good defensive wall thrown down there. The tags are even better, but Dukes, as mechanical as he is, can't take too many of those tags there. Will he be set back? Kramsu really pushing the agenda here, as is Clone.
Keep in mind, Clone and Kramsu, they're trying to make up for lost time. Queasy getting that initial elimination posed such a big setback because they had to make a play for the reboot ban. So now you know that they need some surge damage to efficiently move throughout the rest of this mid game. And Dukes and Sphinx, they wouldn't mind the refresh materials at this point. They're using up a lot of their splashes just to try and get the job done. Not sure which duo actually decided to start the engagement, but at this point, somebody needs to find closure before the third party trickles in.
Yeah, Dukes and Sphinx gonna get another tag here onto Kramsu, but not much. Clone is also hurt, but so is Sphinx. Sphinx seems to be the one taking the most damage in this battle. All of these chug splashes coming out to make sure they keep him up. Given the circumstances, the Flowberry Fizz to reset the full HP now. And they're gonna commit back into it. They're too deep into the water now to give this one up. They're gonna have to swim their way out. They need the mats, they need the material, they need everything that they can pick up off of Dukes and Sphinx here. And Sphinx and Dukes need to stay alive because they're inside the top 5, so much more riding on the line for them right now.
But again, the fact that they've even been held up for this long with Kramsu and Clone is such a huge detriment. There are multiple teams now beginning to filter in around them, and with the way that the zone has started to pull over the likes of Reckless Railways, keep in mind that's also Vico and Flixie's backyard, and they've got that forecast knowledge from this match.
Dukes is trapped though, 2 tags come in, and he is forced back to the low ground. This is not going the way they expected at all here. Sphinx also punished now. The Hispanic duo sees blood in the water here as they've caught the white tags. They are hunting as aggressive as ever. Down goes Sphinx first. Dukes falls as well, and 5th place is out now. And this is gonna give everyone else the chance now to secure that 5th plus. Resigns Demo, they'll move in here. It's not over for Clone and Kramsu. In fact, it's done for them now as Resigns is gonna find the first elim, and Demo gets the second. And just like that, they timed their entry perfectly for OCE.
And at this stage, again, Clone and Kramsu, sure, they got the points from the set of eliminations onto Dukes and Sphinx, but fact of the matter is, they weren't in a position to be able to deal with the third party after the fact that Kramsu left as a solo. And this time, he might not have the opportunity to actually make a reboot ban play like his partner just did for him earlier on. All the while, Chicho and Trulix, they have found their new height of surge-based territory. And they've got a massive overview of where the entirety of the lobby is. This brick box on top of the mountain face as well. Very easy to spot for other teams, which means the flow of traffic for players moving into this next zone likely going to be restricted by Chicho and Trulix.
Yeah, this is as big as bases get here, especially given that it's off the mountain, so they just have so much visibility on the edge of the map. Rift Island, once again, housed by Pirba and Pollo. Probably the 8th time out of these 11 matches they will show up consistently here. Playing into the storm right now. I wonder what's the game plan here as they continue to rack up tags. Does seem like they will need a fight here soon.
Peterbot's got all the chug splashes for this duo. Go ahead and make sure to expend a handful of them, but Pollo, Peterbot, no. It's just gonna be Flowberry Fizz into the launch pad and go, but they can see all the teams that are rifting around them, teams that might even be looking to take that launch pad later on, but most importantly of all, they're heading straight for Surge base territory.
Look at who they're gonna land on. They're following Huddy and Kovacs right now. They find a fresh wall from Scroll and Sky. That would even be a better option given that this is a weakened team. Little do they know, but Pollo gets the first tag onto him, and unfortunately that sets him back. Goes for a trade attacks onto Swizzy, and Peterbot showing us exactly what he is known for, and that is that deadly aim right there to keep them in the game. But just on the line of Surge right now, floating above it. They're not completely safe just yet.
Can't lose focus though. Swizzy and Yapko are not gonna go out without a fight. Sure, Peterbot might have that Mythic Striker burst, but Yapko returning fire, letting them know it's not gonna be easy. 58 below the damage threshold though for Kovacs and Huddy. They are just getting so held by everyone surrounding them, barely managing to find a shot in the nick of time. More importantly still, it seems other players falling in the lobby instead will be their bailout moment. They are fortunately gonna be able to take a quick moment to pause, heal up, and then determine where they head next. Harping out not necessarily an option. They're gonna have to fight because they need more material.
Nice little pickup here for Peterbot. Still has 2 splashes to work with right now. These eliminations being a massive, massive recovery opportunity for them. Let's take a look at it. It was Worthy who was flying in here. He didn't stand a chance. Unfortunately, fell short of the storm line there. Queasy, Thomas HD, hot on the heels of Flixie and Vico now. That would be an incredible team to drop, given that they are in 3rd place.
They could just play for Deadside at this point. They have so much damage above the rest of the lobby. They're gonna be a little bit late, but Thomas HD, do you ever miss with the Monarch pistol, man?
We have seen him do so much damage with that weapon. It wouldn't doubt me if the stats say that he is far and above the rest with the Monarch here on the weekend. Take a look at that in just a moment, but Kovacs, Huddy now, very much below the Surge here, forced into a box-to-box engagement here. This is as scrappy as it's gonna get, and they need an elimination here now. Clock is ticking, starting to run short on time. It's gonna be a matter of moments before this storm really starts to ramp up onto them. Let's see it.
The damage threshold is only going to continue to climb even higher. Huddy, Kovacs forced to jump into Sky and Scroll's box, but it's not going to do them any good. They find the knock onto Scroll, but that's just going to be the setup for Wox and Ping. They take Scroll's body, instantly throw it back into their turf. Sky now left to fend for himself as a solo. Plenty of damage above the threshold, but in a sea of duos, what options does he really have?
And they're just sitting on that refresh right there. Now they're all the way back into the thing. This is kind of crazy for Wox and Ping. They've come out like reasonably out of nowhere, literally now in 4 eliminations. And they're just in this conversation for a top 5 run this game. Just 20 points behind now, Bryson Bolts. given how many eliminations they're starting to pick up here. For Bolts and Bryce, though, they're finally finding theirs too, so that's a set starting to add up here.
Look at how isolated Queasy and Thomas HD were, though, on that far west side of the zone. A little bit of a dead side position, but they are going to have to deal with Paper and Victor B, I believe, who seem to be joined up with them. Not going to be an easy path to trek by any means, but right there with you, Bryce and Bolts have really started to heat up here. And this is where it matters most, because you only have this lobby and the next to work with, and then that's it. And there is a lot of prize money on the line when you look at these positions in the top 5 of the leaderboard.
Oh, the gap is a big, big jump. The first Bolts and Bryce have to make it there, if you will. They're in the top 5, but pushing through is going to be difficult now, given that they're running low on HP, even shorter on damage here. The fact that Bolts has to rely on bandages here, but a great shot there. Not enough to find the elimination, unfortunately. Loses his teammate in the process. However, he is above the threshold for now. It'll buy him a little bit of time. Glowberry Fizz to give him that extra mobility here, so he moves fast. Also to get an inch further, it's Reason who's down at the bottom layer. What can Bolts do now? Can he maintain his position here?
Reason had also been desperate for some elimination damage, but Bolts will get the last laugh. Granted, I don't know how long it'll last, considering the fact that his current position is as grim as ever, especially seeing all these teams in front of him. Chiefs just skirting by. Benoit clicks his box. Bolts hoping to keep ramping up overhead, just trying to maintain an isolated position, but 25 above the damage threshold, and he will finally be taken out.
While all that is happening, there is more action unfolding here for the likes of Thomas HD and Queasy, who are now looking to set themselves up with some high ground positioning once again here. How many wins do we think they can take before the weekend's over at this point? Match 11 starting to heat up, though. Not looking good for Clix and Vino, who are also going to fall inside the top 20. Peterbot and Foyo continuing to rack up the eliminations here.
They couldn't have found those elims at a better time. Granted, it'll be difficult for them to actually make their way towards the body loot, but Peterbot Foyo, they might just choose to take what's right in front of them. Rise immediately falls to Peterbot's accuracy, but it comes at a cost. Peterbot's lost Foyo. The lobby has closed in. Peterbot from the low ground, forced to throw out the armored wall, but everybody's got their eyes on the prize. It seems as though they've all pinpointed the fact that this is a solo operation.
And look, he's still trying to possibly save his teammate. Remember, Foyo has a lot of heals as well and the extra material, but no, he has to give it up. He has to leave him behind. And we have seen Peterbot be here before. I mean, he just won a game where he clutched it up. So top 14 now. It's not over just yet. Queasy still alive. Thomas HD on the front side of the zone. Peterbot is just cooking, though. Taking down Teeny now. Every single time he drops a team and finds more eliminations, he is gapping himself away from second and third place.
And think about the mental game. It's starting to unfold for Queasy and Thomas. They're watching this elimination feed light up. Peterbot, regardless if he's got Foyo or not, he's willing to make some miracles happen. Low ground control, though, belongs to Thomas HD and Queasy. They're trying to make some eliminations happen. They need those points. They've got 5 already, but Peterbot just continuing his massacre at this stage.
Keep your attention down to the bottom right now. Thomas HD just found elimination in low ground, and they're starting to put the pressure while Peterbot's trying to rotate. Thomas is going to find another one down low, and he is still cooking here. Meanwhile, Queasy backs him up and takes down Reet on the low ground there, and they are just turning up. This is why they're first and second place, given into this 11 match right here. They are decimating the lobby.
It's a 1 versus 2 scenario, but Peterbot is just making it happen. Thomas HD and Queasy sitting at 8 eliminations already, though. But Peterbot gets another ritual, isolated, no Reet in sight because he's been taken out earlier on, and Peterbot continuing to tarp his way through the low ground. There's a possibility, MDF. These two might actually just clash head on.
We have a 2v2 and then all solos in between. One of those solos is, of course, Peter, but Rapid is gonna fall as well, and he just does not stop claiming eliminations at this point. Booga on the backside of zone. Don't come out, son. It's not gonna go well if you step into Peter's domain. Meanwhile, Thomas HD, Queasy are setting up the victory royale.
Thomas HD, Queasy, they know. It's Peterbot and Booga. That's all they have to deal with, but Peterbot gets a huge chunk out of Queasy. Thomas is gonna fall. One more shot could do it. Peterbot with the refresh, continuing to break through on the long ground. He's making the impossible happen.
Queasy versus Booga up top. Takes him down. Queasy versus Peterbot now. How badly do you want it? Queasy is looking for the tag. Both shots can easily go any way. Peter finds the first one. Can he get the second? He is incredible.
The second time today, Peterbot knew it was exclusively down to him, and left to his own devices, he delivers.
You just cannot make this up. He is too good.
Wow, wow, wow. Give it up for Peter Bonapoyo! You know, is that a taste of what's to come? The 1v1 versus Queasy, the last play of the game. Peterbot, you were out of your mind there.
Yeah, I don't know. So I eliminated Thomas, and then I knew Queasy killed one, right? And then I just knew it was a free win because it was Queasy, not Thomas, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. All right. Boy, this is... I'm enjoying this. Are you enjoying this too?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I mean, the solo clutch, both our wins today, so, I mean.
We started the day with you guys, a good 60 points in the lead. You guys have been toe-to-toe with Thomas and Queasy all day long. It goes down to the last game now. That has got to be the greatest way to kickstart the last game of this competition. What are you guys going to... I mean, how do you kind of take in this moment, everyone watching around the world, everyone competing together, this is your time. Do you feel this is your time as a duo as well?
Yeah, I think they're going to land on... Yeah, I think they're going to land on us this last game, and then we're just going to kill them, and that'll be it.
Okay, you expecting that as well? Do you think there's a chance that Thomas and Queasy may make the play and go for you guys and land where you're landing and challenge you?
I think so. Okay. Maybe.
I was going to say, I've asked you guys so many questions over the course of the last 2 days. I'm going to ask you what your favorite color is, Peterbot, and is it gold?
No, it's not, but that'd be nice to win, you know what I'm saying?
It would be nice. One more time, would you give it up for Peterbot and Boyo? We could not have asked for a greater way to go into our final Game 12. It is so close now. FNCS Global Championships 2024 could not have asked for a better way to close things out. Do not go anywhere. Stay exactly where you are, because after this, we'll be crowning our champions. We'll see you in a bit.
Fortnite fam. Fortnite fam. We are seeing history being made before our very eyes. Vivid 11-2K. Is that possibly the craziest clutch we have ever seen in FNCS history?
Stakes on the line, right? Like, it may not be like one of the, I don't know, like the craziest ones we've ever seen, but you have to take everything into account. On the stage, lights are on, fans are cheering. They're both first and second place. Peterbot's a solo, and he's just ice cold in the clutch. Levin, we can never count him out. How?
It doesn't get much better than this. I mean, this is everything you asked for. When Poyo goes down, you're looking at Peterbot going, surely he doesn't clutch again. We just saw one of the best clutches we've seen from him all year. And then with Queasy and Thomas in the lobby, they are just bossing it. It looks like if anybody else is in the lobby other than those two, it's a clear win for them. But for them to come blow to blow at the end there, Vivid, oh my goodness. This script is nuts.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There's no way. How would we have ever known? How would we know? And it's like in those moments, right? Top 25, you always kind of wish like the first and second team kind of go head to head. In a manner like this, though, where really Peterbot should not have been able to pull this off. Back against the wall, look at the materials, look at all, and yet he takes down Thomas, and then it's just a 1v1, and it comes down to angles? What are these angles, Vivid?
I don't know, like Peterbot's tracking is incredible. He just seems to always find the shot first, immediately build afterwards. Just, he's got like what, 25 HP right there, just takes no damage from Queasy at all. It is just insane.
I mean, thank you to those guys for making this the competition of ages, really.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people came into today thinking it wasn't going to be close. They were going to run away with it, myself included.
Yeah.
But these guys have put up a championship winning performance, and you look at individuals, of course, Peter talking a bit of smack there, right, when he's saying he wishes he was happy it was Queasy instead of Thomas. But when you look at how Thomas has been playing, understandably so, Thomas has been absolutely on it all throughout the day. The shots he's been hitting has been so clutch. Oh man, I wonder how they're feeling after that, right? They would have expected to win that.
Do they even like? They probably don't even know what's going on. Like, they're gonna watch this back and be like, he did what from where as a who? I mean, Queasy and Thomas are just going up against. I mean, you chatted with him, Levin, right? The words that were coming out of Queasy's mouth yesterday, he was like, "How do we beat that?" I
mean, he's making it look possible, at least, right? And
yeah.
And that was one of the things even he emphasized yesterday. He felt like it almost wasn't possible.
Gosh.
But clearly is this here. When they start going up and you're like, oh my god, they're just gonna wipe everyone out of the lobby at this point. Thomas drops down to try to take Booger out, and it's so unfortunate there that Peterbot is just lurking about in the bottom of the zone. I mean, in so many other situations, if you rewind that game, you rewind that end game, they win it more often than not, you'd reckon.
Yeah.
But fine margins, Zeke. It comes down to the angles.
Hey, just listen to the crowd roar. Literally in that moment, everyone is losing their minds. This is still a close game, okay? Because I do want to call out here, Queasy and Thomas, they got 12 eliminations that game, right? So it's still, if Peterbot and Poyo go down early, Queasy Thomas could still win. I have a question, though. At the beginning of the show, Adam was talking with Queasy and Thomas HD, and he said, listen, if it comes to that, going into game 12, could we see and relive that invitational moment? What did Queasy say?
Queasy basically mentioned that if the gap between second and third place was enough, right? Enough to go ahead and justify, like, oh, listen, if we have a bad game 12, we get 0 points, we're still going to get second, then we're going for it. We're running it back from Invitational. We're landing on Peterbot and Poyo 11. What does that kind of make you feel? You think they're going to do it or what?
I mean, the gap is there. You look at Peterbot and Poyo, and I know they've had some hiccups in the earlier games of the day, but you can't count on them going down early, right? That isn't just how these games have played out for the most part. And so if you really want to win, you want to take home that championship like we know Queasy and Thomas do, there is one play that can guarantee you that championship, and that is landing on them taking the raft away from them and winning out the game.
That's way too scary, though. Are we really saying we think they're going to commit to a raft? There's already duos there. And you know, for those other duos are thinking we've got to slow them down. This could be an all-out fight at the raft.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to make the call. Like, could you imagine being Queasy or Thomas? Who's making that call? How do you make that call?
I mean, it's so tough. I mean, Queasy, I would assume, would be the one to make that call, but it's so much more complicated than that, right? Because even if you do land there and you take them down at the raft, there's other teams there, like you guys have mentioned.
Yeah.
What happens if one of these other teams, imagine a world where they take them down, right? Queasy and Thomas manage to land on them, take them down, and then Fretz or someone else in the POI goes, hold on a minute.
Yeah,
and starts running out.
They pop over.
You know what I mean? Like, it's risky business. It's different from Invitational. Cammy and Seti, when Queasy and Veno landed on those guys, they were landing at an uncontested POI, right? So there was room for it to happen.
Well, fam, this is our hearts racing. We hope you are enjoying the hype. We're getting closer to starting off game number 12. Vivid, I gotta ask, how are you feeling? One game left to go.
Only one emotion rushing through my body right now, and that is excitement. We're, what, 25 minutes away from watching that trophy up there get hoisted by our global championships. One more game separates us and that.
Levin, how are you feeling, man?
You want to know how I'm feeling? You want to know how I'm feeling?
Yeah.
I'm feeling like it all comes down to this. One more game remaining, legacies on the line. I think back to moments. This game's all about moments. Fortnite's about moments. I think back to the World Cup, the young Argentinian king fighting to push his family's life over, fighting for his destiny. I think back to even earlier yesterday, Swizzy, all the adversity he's faced, fighting up against the best duo in the world, Peter and Poy, in a 1v2. He did it. I think back to the Invitational 2022. Queasy, Veno against Seti and Cammy to win it all. This game is about moments. Fort Worth, are you ready for a moment? Nah. Fort Worth, I said, are you ready? This is that moment. This is their moment. Game number 12 starts now.
And it couldn't be said any better. Match 12 is here, and the competition has never been closer.
Absolute chills listening to Levin, but he has a point here, MDF. This game is all about seizing the right moment. Pollo and Peterbot flying in to the raft. Company beside them, but no Queasy and Thomas in sight.
But you do have Denoth and Tinker still here. Peterbot and Pollo will have to make it out of the drop. They will have to make all the way to endgame here to meet Thomas, HD, and Queasy to run it back one more time. Eliminations are going to be huge here for Pollo and Peterbot as they get to have a chance to open up the point discrepancy.
This is anything but a detriment, though, as far as Pollo and Peterbot are concerned. Denoth and Tinka nearly helping them tally up an additional 6 points if they're not careful. All the while, Thomas, Queasy, they've just landed touchdown home base here at Research Rock, Brawlers Battleground, and a whole game ahead of them to try and stamp their mark.
And I know everyone at home watching right now is sitting on the edge of their seats. What is gonna happen? Who is gonna take it all home and lift the trophy at the end, the bragging rights of being the best duo globally across all of the Fortnite regions? Kovacs and Huddy still have so much to fight for as well, given that their podium finish is up on the line here. Let's not forget, third place is still a huge jump up in prizing and bragging. But for Kovacs and Huddy, they've been fighting this team every single game of the weekend so far. They've been relatively successful, but this is the last chance now.
Neither neither side willing to budge, but for Sky and Skrull, they seem to be on the receiving end for the most part. Huddy, Kovacs trying to close in. They know just how injured they actually are, but Kovacs a little bit too ambitious. Sky, Skrull, they're gonna find the first knock. It's exclusively up to Huddy to keep that podium finish alive.
It's not over yet, though. Huddy is way too healthy, and they recognize that this can go either way. Given how consistent he's been, beautiful tag right there onto one duo. Can he get the second? Surely he can, but the damage has been done, and he's forced onto the back foot, starting to run out of mats now. Armor wall comes out. Things are looking really dicey now for Huddy.
There's only so many ways that Huddy could actually choose to escape from this current position, however, and Skrull recognizes that fact. Skrull's gonna find that final elimination. Huddy and Kovacs have had a phenomenal run, but it's cut short. Pollo Peterbot doing the same currently to Trashy and Threats.
And now, there's no friends in sight. Everyone at the wrap must go. Peterbot and Pollo need more points, and they want to start opening up the gap here. Trashy's gonna be the first to fall now.
That final elimination having been established there for Pollo and Peterbot. We've got a moment to take a quick listen in with some of our teams.
Wait for the cameras, I'm gonna mark craft, yeah? I just know the streams are going like, is Queasy gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Alright, bro. Let's get it. Fist bump, bro. Fist bump, man. Give me a fist bump, bro. Don't leave me hanging.
He thought about it. He tried to bait us. But no, you know, I do respect the fact Queasy and Thomas HD and their ability to stick to their guns, not be pressured into a decision that can throw their entire opportunity away. They've known that Peterbot and Pollo have not played perfectly today. However, when Peter has been online, when Pollo has been online, it is just incredible to witness clearly the clutches that he's put down today have proven just that.
Even when Pollo hasn't been there, the level of support that he's been able to provide for Peterbot and just fully trusting in his teammate, Peter, to clutch up every single time without fail. That is a huge amount of pressure rested upon Peterbot's shoulders, and yet he plays as if there's nothing weighing him down in the slightest.
What's really interesting about Peterbot and Pollo as well, the way they're playing right now, they're not taking any chances. Anything that moves is getting shot. You saw there even clicks off in the they're hitting everyone back. They're gonna want 1,000 feet between them. And of course the trophy for now, but Ping and Wox here on the other side have been flying their way up the standings, truly earning their mark, making their mark here on the Globals stage. This is the grand finals, match 12 action happening right now. Yuma is gonna get his tournament cut short now. Wox has to clutch it up, but no! Rise has a different story on hand here. Gotta be careful now.
The damage has definitely already been done though by Wox and Ping. Even if Rise manages to overcome this 1 versus 2 scenario, without his duo, he's gonna have to make a play for the reboot ban, and that's gonna cost him so much time. Wox, Ping though, they've got other things in mind, and that's continuing their streak here in the final hour. 2 eliminations already, a third party closing in. They've got ample amounts of shield though. What they really need is more white heals and an opportunity to disengage, most importantly of all.
Honestly, from Wox, that was an incredible angle to counter the ramp that was thrown in the box right there. Quick thinking, swift action. It's gonna allow them to win that fight right there. Tinka has to be careful. They may have won an OCE championship, but here on the global stage, everyone is on equal footing. Things slow down for a moment. Other teams lurking nearby, listening, watching. Brazil, OCE. You never know who's gonna jump in first.
Chicha and Trulix though, they're just sticking to what's tried and true. Surge base up, scour the entire area, and apply pressure onto the teams down in Doomsday. Keep in mind that's likely going to be Epic Whale, Muzz, Ritual one more time, having to deal with Trulex and Chicho's affairs, but Chicho, Trulex, definitely trying to be wary. A couple of shots found their way from the flank positions, and despite how high up they've managed to build these surge bases, you can still be vulnerable when you got these open edits.
No shots returning just yet, though. Everyone almost in position for good reason. Sphinx and Dukes on the other side, playing the Storm right now, trying to, of course, secure what they can here. What a performance from Dukes this weekend here. Again, flying straight up to the top, not really looking back after making the top 5. He has just been so consistent with Sphinx. A duo that honestly we didn't even see coming out of nowhere. Back on over to Vico and Flixie. The Railways pushed out very early this time around with this far western pull.
Part of the reason being, though, we saw Vico and Flixie last we checked in. They were trying to surmount a base around the forecast tower that spawns just a little bit next to Dumping Hazen, but with Bryson Bolts right behind them, you almost have to imagine that Bryson Bolts potentially could have pushed them out of that position. Chap and Teeny, on the other hand, they're trying to deal with the likes of Ed and Persa. Nitrodrome action only going to continue to pick up. There's a lot of commotion that both of these duos are making, and they're on the outside of the zone. Granted, they have plenty of time to work with. Teeny and Chap could also always opt to take this flaming boost tube if they feel as though this battle isn't worth their time.
Definitely are looking like it's time to get out of here. Couple eliminations, but time to just recoup, bounce back, get the materials, and find your way towards the mid game here. Meanwhile, Booga falls to the hands of Muzz and Epic Whale, and they are racking up the loot now. Other teams are still here at the Doomspot, though. Big rotates coming in, it seems like, from Reet and Ritual. Mapoli and Zoyota as well. Just lurking, trying to find an opportunity here to pounce in.
That was a big set of eliminations, though, that Muzz and Epic Whale managed to find. And the fact that it was on to Aviv and Booga can be crushing when you consider that they had started to surmount the comeback potential, trying to maintain the top 10. Aviv unable to get the revive. Respect the commitment, but Muzz and Epic Whale just a little bit too quick on the collapse. Here, the crowd cheering as Thomas HD and Queasy come into view one more time. They're heading straight for this weapons bunker south of the Nitrodrome, and there's already company nearby. So instead, they might opt to pivot, take this flaming boost tube instead, Flowberry Fizz, and it's a fast rotate.
They're on the move right now, Swizzy and Yapko as well, just outside the Grim Grate. Trapped in between Murstache and Malibuca in the distance. A bunker here, of course, being the big upgrade to their loadout. The fact that they get this bunker completely uncontested makes a huge difference as well. Yapko with a single elim right now, starting to cap out on material. This is where focus will start to shift into where do they want to base down for the mid game. Jumping in with Boyo and Peterbot. You can see who's on the way here without giving it away. There is a very clear, determined play in motion right now to intercept this duo.
At the same time, though, you've got to time it right. Queasy and Thomas know Boyo and Peterbot, as long as they have Emma Frost reveal medallion, every 50 seconds, that marker is going to go out. It is essentially full view of everyone surrounding you, and a big credit for as to why Peterbot has been able to find those two solo clutches for the victory royales here today.
Thomas HC is going to take a lot of damage there. It's time for Squeezy to possibly step up here, but Bach and Pars just going to back up, play that high ground, play that angle. More tags from behind. This is a huge setback now for Queasy here, forced to heal. Loadout looking pretty scrappy as well. given that they don't have big upgraded weaponry, right? They could use a bunker, they could use an elite chest or something. They definitely need something.
They've at least got mats to work with, though, and that could be the ultimate difference maker. Rift Island spawning off in the distance. Kashoro, Keiki, but it's Pollo and Peterbot that'll be first to the top. Capture point in sight. And with the control of Rift Island nearly underway, Pollo, Peterbot from this position sitting just inside of the zone as well. Their next intent likely gonna be to just fully restrict the flow of this lobby.
And it's almost easy for them to know where the Rift Island's gonna spawn. They have the forecast tower. They know where the next zone's going. Obviously, the island's gonna be in it, if not extremely close like it is right now. So it makes sense. Pollo and Peterbot are isolated here, and they will be for quite some time. This is, again, probably the weirdest Rift Island we've seen off on the western coast.
And even worse still,